recorded in front of a lively studio audience in rowdy Round Rock, Texas. It's the What's Update with Xander IMDb.
Season 6.
Cognitive dissonance and
socioeconomic disparity. To quote one Lin-Manuel Miranda, the world turned upside down.
The world turned upside down.
The world turned upside down, down. Listen, I understood the assignment. I did the homework. I turned in the fucking essay, and I encouraged you to do the same. And because some of you were more concerned with ideological purity, you fucked it and made it worse. Welcome to the What's Update. I'm Xander IMDb. Here's what happened. In Texas, retail giant Costco recalled thousands of pounds of butter. That's right, because of an improper label, the members-only warehouse store is recalling 40 tons of mantequilla. According to the FDA, the butter's packaging lacked a mandated allergen risk for milk disclaimer used to inform customers that butter contains milk.
What?
You know, like how skull may contain brain, ass may contain finger, phone may contain the answers to all your dumb questions if you just fucking look.
Woo, he's feisty tonight.
Yeah, moving on. In a scene right out of a Sly Cooper game, a raccoon dropped from the ceiling at LaGuardia Airport and went on the run. Had to hold the R1 button for that.
Yep.
Passengers scattered as the masked Procyon loader, We Are Groot, burst out of a ceiling tile and landed on the Spirit Airlines counter. According to the Port Authority, the raccoon was safely detained and removed. When asked for comment, the raccoon claimed, quote, the controller ate my circle button input. Do not order DualShocks off of Wish.com. Don't do it. It will fail you at the least opportune time. For the first time in recorded history, it snowed in the Saudi Arabian desert. Heavy rain and hailstorms preceded the snowfall in the mountainous Al Jaf region. Not much else to it, folks. Snow. In the desert. In frickin' Saudi Arabia. As in Lawrence of. But sure, there's no such thing as climate change, right?
No.
Jumping GB on a communion wafer, people. Hell has not only frozen over, now it's fucking leaking!
Into the desert. Shit.
A Tennessee nonprofit reported a huge increase in requests for birth control after Election Day. A step ahead, Chattanooga, which serves southwest Tennessee, northwest Georgia, and northeast Alabama, and was already struggling to keep up with demands, said requests for birth control were up 287% the day after Trump's win. Wow. I guess those smart southern ladies want to ensure that drunk uncle doesn't become drunk daddy.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah. And honestly, you'd think Diaper Donnie would be a big supporter of birth control medication, considering his track record for raw-dogging porn stars and models. Or, maybe he's hoping to make another daughter he'll want to fuck.
Oh.
Sorry, Tiffany. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Damn.
Poor Tiffany.
No, not Tiffany.
She's rich.
I don't give a shit.
In order to pay their cyber ransom, a French energy company will need to visit La Boulangerie rather than La Banque. In lieu of the usual demand for cryptocurrency, Hellcat, a ransomware group claiming to have broken into Schneider Electric systems and downloaded over 40 gigabytes of sensitive data, wanted the $125,000 ransom paid in, wait for it, baguettes.
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes us fat.
Yeah. For those curious, that's almost 59,000 baguettes by average price range. Sounds like these hackers will need a big dose of le insulin before they go into a coma from le diabetes.
Bread makes you fat.
Because bread makes you fat.
No, Scott, bread makes us fat. While remodeling their new abode, French homeowners found a skeleton 15 years after the disappearance of a prior resident. The remains were found in a previously unnoticed attic of an outbuilding and are believed to be those of a person who committed suicide by hanging, as bits of rope were found around a nearby beam. The remains were sent to the Strasbourg Institute of Forensic Medicine to be identified by DNA comparison with surviving relatives of the assumed missing owner.
Wait. Haven't
Haven't we already done this story?
No. That was a British couple finding a gargoyle in the shitter. This one was French folks finding un cadavre dans le garage.
Oh, merde.
Merde indeed. And I thought Austin real estate was bad. While we're still across the pond, a British woman, traumatized in childhood after seeing the original Stephen King It movie, decided it was finally time to deal with her debilitating fear of clowns. What could go wrong? 41-year-old Kelly Greenfield, who uses a wheelchair, suffers from coulrophobia, the fear of clowns, which is heightened by her inability to run away. Greenfield, as part of exposure therapy, dressed up as Pennywise, that's the original Tim Curry Pennywise, kids, and was chased by her nephews dressed as clowns. At least, she hoped they were her nephews. It might have been one of the 7 Skarsgård boys under one of those masks.
That's a lot of Skarsgårds.
Yeah, like an obscene amount of Skarsgårds.
And then there's Alexander.
Eric Northman.
Eric Northman's amazing. All right.
Can't get distracted by that.
Going,
Stick around. We'll be right back.
Yeah! Yeah!
Welcome back. Growing up, I think a common reality check / nightmare scenario is hearing your parents utter the phrase, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed." It's doubly bad when you're an only child because all that shit's on you. It's like a razor-bladed jackhammer straight to the soul.
You have a soul?
Parts of one.
Okay.
I keep it in a jar at the back of my closet.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now, looking at recent events, I'm convinced that the classic parental admonishment is exceptionally apt. Deserved, even. And just to be clear, I am disappointed. But I'm also really fucking mad. But let me tell you why. This shit shouldn't have happened. Common sense, empathy, and doing the due diligence should have made this election the biggest Democratic blowout in history. We were supposed to have the first female president and most dad-like vice president.
Yep.
We were supposed to finally get some relief and assurance that democracy and the law would prevail. We were supposed to see Trump let out of his tacky-ass roach motel in handcuffs. We were supposed to wrap this eldritch nightmare up. And yet here we are. The end of 248 years of democracy right in front of our very eyes. Make no mistake, this was the last election we're ever going to have the opportunity to choose in. They have said as much too many times to not take it seriously. Real talk here, people, we blew it. Actually, no. There's no we about this. I went in, voted early, did my part, and told people to do the same. If there was ever a time to play the blame game, it's now. So let's take it from the top.
Yeah.
The most predictable metric in this shitstorm, white men for Trump. Over 60% of white male voters in this election voted for the Mandarin Menace. And while it isn't surprising in the slightest, this is where I'd like to bring up the topic of intersectionality. Intersectionality is a concept in studies of social trends and statistics where the compound effects, or intersections, of multiple demographics create a different, often harsher result. To put it plainly, the more minority boxes you check off, the more screwed you are. Now, for white dudes that voted for the Tangerine Terror, think about yourself. Well, more than usual. How's your credit score? Are some of your friends slightly swishy? Did one of your parents, siblings, or loved ones get stuck with the genetic oopsie of being female? Guess what, dipshits? By that very association, situation, or lack of compensation, you're in MAGA's sights. If you're anything other than the top 1% of cishet white male money Christ psychopaths, you're still screwed. They don't care if you're the picture of Aryan perfection. As soon as they find or invent a flaw in your very concept of self, they'll bleed you dry. Another population that signed up for their own mugging, the Hispanic demographic. Around 45% of Hispanic men voted for Trump, and around 35% of Hispanic women did the same. This is yet another case in the wide world of what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Did you suddenly forget that he called y'all rapists, threatened to deport you at will, and plans to do so tenfold in this new administration? He tried to end DACA once, and he'll sure as hell succeed with a packed Congress and a Supreme Court full of his own appointed morons. On top of that, he's racking up hype for mass deportation, so where do you think that leaves you? They don't care if you're naturalized, applied and gained citizenship, have been here for decades, or were just born here. All they see you as is another brown person to send across the border or shoot. Now, unfortunately, this fiasco is also generational. Somehow, for every generation down the line, the numbers were near 50%. Yes, even the boomers. That's the only pleasant surprise in this whole clusterfuck, because that's the only one I expected to be redder than a baboon's ass. Like, what is decidedly less pleasant of a surprise is everyone else. First, Gen X. What the actual fuck? Y'all are supposed to be the smart, snarky ones that saw this coming all along. How did y'all suddenly get cold feet? At least with this election, you could have been part of a major historical event that wasn't a global disaster for once. Just another one for y'all's scrapbooks now, I guess. Next, millennials. Why am I not surprised that y'all couldn't follow simple instructions? When in the presence of a qualified and progressive candidate and a bloated fuck trumpet fascist, vote against the fascist! This election wasn't about getting every single thing you wanted in a candidate. It was about making sure that Trump couldn't get back into the chair with the goddamn nuclear codes. And finally, Gen Z. How is this so hard? Just show up, vote for Mamala, go home, get some rest, done and done. This election was ultimately about our future, since we're gonna be the ones to live through all the inevitable fallout for decades to come. And finally, let's talk about excuses, because I've been hearing a lot of them. First of all, people who didn't show up because they opted for mail-in ballots. Did y'all miss the part where those things kept getting thrown out in the last election? What did you think was gonna happen this time? Red Caps were literally going around setting mailboxes and drop boxes on fire to get rid of those, and you still thought that was enough? Here's a little piece of advice. You can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to be there. Next, any excuse along the lines of, well, my vote wouldn't have counted anyway, so why bother? Congratulations, you fell for the MAGA despair tactic hook, line, and stinker. This race was a lot closer than it should ever have been, and a bit more effort could have saved it. Go early, triple check your ballot, and do your goddamn due diligence. The Trumpinistas wanted to make you feel like your vote wouldn't count so they could get in and literally make it not count. Or maybe you missed the part where the shit given literally said you'll never have to worry about voting again. And finally, let's talk about the concept of dichotomy. In a lot of things, there's often the illusion of a one or the other choice. Keep going with a crappy degree plan or drop out. Work 6 jobs to stay in an apartment or be homeless. Power through homework or play some video games. In most of these situations, there's another way to go that works out a bit better. This was not one of those. In this election, you had one correct choice. Harrison Walls. Choosing anything else was a vote for Trump, whether you realized it or not. Voted third party, protest vote, no vote at all, then whatever happens next is on you. Because you couldn't make the right choice on what was basically a true or false quiz. This was it. This was the election. The one to determine the future of the US, democracy, and common sense, and y'all blew it. This is how it all ends. Now, I will keep going with this show until those motherfuckers come and get me. And in the meantime, I fully intend to start and stir up as much shit as possible. If you can, I encourage you to do the same. Make a fascist cry and give a red cap a migraine.
Yeah.
It's been said that love and hope are stronger than hate, but hope is running on empty right now, and love can't block bullets. Don't feel bad if you, like me, need a generous helping of spite to get through this. If they hate you, hate them back more. Alright, now stick around. We'll be right back with an interview with Tony-nominated actor and TV police procedural mainstay, Corey Reynolds.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Let's hop right in with our 3 standard questions. Who you, what do, and why?
My name is Corey Reynolds. I am an artist, an actor, a writer, and I do it because that's a good question. I haven't had to answer that question in a long time. I don't know. I love it. I mean, ultimately, but I feel like that's such a generic answer. I don't know. It scratches this weird itch, I guess, for my spirit.
It's lovely. Is there anything that you're working on right now or have coming out soon that you'd like to tell our audience about?
Yeah, actually, I just got the season 4 first episode of Resident Alien. We start filming in just a couple weeks. I literally just got it like 15 minutes before I hopped on here. I haven't read it, so I don't have any spoilers to give at all. But that's we're
We
gonna
can't
start
take
filming
just a
that.
small peek at the script.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I wish.
Hey, don't worry, nobody
Um,
watches this show. He'll be
No, no. Somebody one day watching your show. Other than that, I've got a project about the like a life story of Jane Elliott, who's a like civil rights advocate. For a long time, she created this blue eye, brown eye exercise that helped. Was a tool used to help white people get an understanding of what discrimination feels like based on something beyond like your control, and it like really changed her life. And you know, it's a really powerful story, and she's a very powerful little lady. So I've been working on something like that with her for a while now. So
Yeah, I think I remember that experiment, like a classic sociology, psychology going down in the textbooks.
absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what it was. And she did it with a third grade class the day after Dr. King was assassinated. She just had this like impulse to divide her class up like that, and she did it. And she's still doing it. She still teaches, and it's pretty like powerful to me. It's very important. It's important work. It's the type of stuff that I want to be a part of my cachet of accomplishments. And I think the world could kind of use that type of messaging right now. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, as someone also trying to put together a documentary, which I'm glad that you agreed to be a part of in this. Do you have any tips for good documentary filmmaking?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, when in doubt, rely on honesty. I think that's the key. If you're speaking, if you're telling your truth, it's all that matters.
Most of the time, I just ask the questions and let people go.
Yeah. Sorry about seeing my dog's butt. I think he's got his chew toy now, so he should be okay.
Yeah, sure. We'll put a cat button in one of these episodes.
You can blur it, you know, just so people think it's something like totally inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like unnecessary blurring. I think it was like Jimmy Kimmel did that or something like that. Yeah.
It's good for the ratings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that project, do you feel right now being involved in that type of documentary project and on this part of history is more important than ever?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a crucial turning point for humanity in a lot of ways. I hate to sound so dramatic or whatever, but
Oh, no.
you know, at some point we as a civilization will cross an event horizon where it will be kind of too late to start to repair some of the things that need to get repaired. And I think one of them is reconnecting with humanity and our humanity. And I think sometimes you reconnect through someone telling you a lullaby, and sometimes you reconnect through someone being a little more blunt and direct. And to come back to Jane Elliott, that was her technique, very much more in your face, kind of no nonsense, no bullshit. And I think the future's worth it. So I got a kid that's young, so I want him to have an opportunity to enjoy life and not have some of the same obstacles we're facing now. The whole point is to leave it better than you found it. If you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. The concept for Judaism, tikkun olam, repair the world.
There you go, man.
Yeah. So let's go to your background on this for a good start. I'd like to start with your like theater experience. Like you've been nominated for a Tony before. How did you get started in musical theater?
I started performing like in show choir back in school, back in grade school. I've actually never really taken singing or dancing lessons or acting lessons beyond public school before I got my start. And then I started my career working. I was 16. I started performing at theme parks, singing and dancing. And then I moved on to the world of cruise ships and was singing and dancing on there. And then after the cruise ships, I came back stateside and did some children's theater to get my equity card. And then I did some regional touring theaters, a show, Smokey Joe's Cafe, another musical called Parade. And then Hairspray popped up, and that was kind of a bit of a game changer. Loved every second of it. That was like, it was a great way. It's kind of funny because right after like Hairspray, I went into like this Spielberg movie, The Terminal, and that part of the journey is a blessing and a curse in some ways, because like where do you go from there? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, a lot of people would be like, oh, you go even higher. And that does happen. But, you know, at that phase of my life in my, you know, late 20s, that was pretty much like a rocket ride coming from New York to LA like that. And then I booked The Closer, which was my first pilot I ever booked and first series I booked, and it ran for 7 years. So, and then if we're tracking it up, I feel like I'm doing my own memorandum. Like you could play like sad music and like roll my credits up beside me. And then after that, yeah, Selma, Straight Outta Compton, and some other TV stuff, and started getting more into writing and wanting to be have a more influential, play a more influential role in the creative process. And Resident Alien came up, and that created kind of this perfect blend of a character I love, people that I really enjoy working with and absolutely like love as family. And with the ability to improv on the show, and having a hand in the writing when you want to. I mean, listen, I'm not in the writer's room, but if there's something that I feel like is an important part of the storytelling that maybe it could be reflected a little more clarity within the script, then I'll just go to Chris and, you know, we add it in. So it's been a beautiful kind of marriage of creatively in front of the camera and creatively behind the camera.
Now, since we're talking about like you as a person and like your history and all that, you're incredibly active on social media, and your feed is often an expert mix of visceral viciousness and razor sharp wit, and your turn of phrase is delightfully unique. So
thank you.
Yeah, so have any thoughts on like how you get so into the groove on such things?
I think, you know, social media is tough because I probably say more than I should. But you know, I think it's all about your messaging. And I think humor is a great way to add a little honey to the medicine. I think that's kind of the way it's been I think for as long as time has gone on with mankind and literature. I mean, humor has been a vehicle for change. And I also believe the arts are the tools to make the change and the weapons to fight against some of the uglier aspects of our society that are emerging in the wake of this shift in America. I think it's critical that we find vehicles for connection, not to everybody. Fuck some of these motherfuckers. I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to connect with everybody. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just being real. I'm not trying to connect with everybody. There's some people who are going to follow me on social media and hate my fucking guts. I mean, and that's okay. Unfollow. That's fine. But we only have like one life. And I think it's important to stake your claim to the position of righteousness. I mean, there's something to be said about being on the right side of history. You know, I got a kid, so my investment in this world extends beyond my lifetime. And in keeping with that theme of leaving it better than you found it, I think we have an obligation to, at a bare minimum, speak and be heard. I think it's extremely important.
As the political landscape becomes more contentious, and given the events of the last 2 weeks, the constant 24-hour cycle of bad news keeps continuing, and people might start to become numb, allowing truly heinous things to slip by under the radar. So how effective and necessary is comedy to reignite the political and social engagement of a tired and desensitized audience?
Man, I mean, I think it's you know, I think it's going to have to play a critical role. I mean, I think, you know, you see that reflected in the significance of Saturday Night Live during the political season. I think people gotta laugh. I mean, even if it's laughing at just the tragedy of all of this, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll just think about the idea that we kind of did this to ourselves, which is bizarre and kind of tragically hilarious. It reminds me of, I'm sure you saw Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, when, Spot kicks himself into himself. And I kind of feel like that's kind of what we've done. We've kicked ourselves into ourselves.
What are you gonna say? They kicked their own butt.
They kicked their own butt. Yeah. And I mean, I don't really know. I know I have to laugh. I know I will say, when I left Twitter, because the day Elon closed on it, I left. That was it. I was done. I'm shocked that it took people this long to leave Twitter. Like, for real, it's just a fucking app, right? But I have enjoyed, coming back to social media with Bluesky and Threads and, making the jokes. I think if I can make somebody laugh, if they find it funny like I do, good on you, because we're all going through a lot. And we've been kind of in this, I guess it all depends on what side of the spectrum you're on. I mean, if you are on the right side of the political spectrum, I don't know what your experience is like right now, because I'm sure they're excited. I don't think
they don't really seem to feel joy
fully. Well, I posed this on back on Twitter and then eventually on Threads. I put out I challenged anyone to show me someone in a MAGA hat doing something kind. Like, let me see it. Like, are you guys are you building parks? Are you like feeding the homeless? Are you dropping groceries off at people whose houses are in need? Or is it all just, yeah, I mean, is it just, I get wanting to own the libs. Everybody wants to dunk on everybody. Everybody's got their sides. I get that part, but there's a real life aspect to this that is really hard to find the logic in. And we've been experiencing that since, frankly, since COVID. The idea that there was a fucking debate over whether or not a fucking mask worked.
Yeah.
Like, how fucking dumb are we?
Mm-hmm.
Like if masks didn't work, why do doctors wear them? Like, why do they wear them in dentist office? You know what I mean? Like, and we allowed that because, listen, here's the thing. If you have a kid and they come in or someone, they come in and they say something really fucking stupid, be like, dude, that's fucking stupid. Get out of here with that shit. Right? Mm-hmm. That's what you have to do. It has to be so ridiculous. It doesn't get standing. Right. And we allowed a bunch of things that really shouldn't be up for debate. You know what I mean? I don't see anybody arguing about fucking gravity. You know why? Because you jump the fuck off that building, you're going to find out what gravity is. You know what I mean? But it was like this whole idea of, I don't need a mask. And nah. Like, these motherfuckers like went crazy over a mask, bruh. That was insane. And then, you had that big orange dumb fucker up there, hobbling his ass up the stairs and taking his mask off, haha, I showed you COVID. I mean, like, what? It's a virus, bro. It doesn't work like that. COVID isn't off in a corner like a supervillain, like Mum-Ra, thinking how he's going to get him next time. It just is. It is really. We've drifted into some really bizarro world type shit. And it ain't getting no better. If you're looking at some of these cabinet picks, you know what? There's Bizarro World, and then there's like you being a person who lives in Bizarro World, and then your Bizarro World. We're like Bizarro cubed. Now we have really stacked on some. There's a guy with worms in his brain who's going to be the head of Health and Human Services. I mean, what do you do with that? How am I supposed to take if you have worms in your brain? First of all, how do I know the worm isn't controlling you? I have a lot of jokes on social media about that little Wormsley guy, from those little golden books driving,
The next generation with the earworms, with the high command and stuff.
It is really kind of wild, man. And I don't think people are really going to really grasp the cliff we just drove off of until it's way too late. Way too late.
I know you need to go do other things real soon, so I think we can wrap this up with like one last question that's a bit like more silly and fun.
Yes.
Nice and
there we
fun.
go. Let's get to something fun. Let's tell jokes about scrotum bacon or something.
I don't know. Maybe we should do some research into that. Tell Craig. You might have something. Yeah. So the big question that we're asking all the guests this season: if you could be any kitchen appliance, gadget, or implement, which one would you want to be and why?
Ooh, kitchen appliance. I mean,
Doesn't have to be an appliance. It could be like,
any old thing, like something you put in the drawer.
Okay.
Put in the cabinet.
Knife,
I mean, honestly, I'd have to go with the fridge. I think you encompass a wide. I mean, granted, I'm not somebody that really likes the cold, but when I'm looking at my options, I mean, you got like, now granted, some of your shit's frozen and you can't like do anything with it, but you got more options with a fridge. A fridge is more steady. It's like the tank of your kitchen. I don't know. Like, would the fridge be the tank of the kitchen, or is the stove the tank of the kitchen?
I'd say the fridge.
I'd say like the fridge, the tank of the kitchen, and then the oven is like the assault vehicle of the kitchen.
The APC. Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Oh, we'll see that. Look at that harmony. We came together. We came together and we fixed that. Yeah. So I mean, I'd have to go with the fridge. I'm going with the fridge. Did I win? Did I win the prize?
We shall see. We got a whole bunch.
Right,
we got other guests to get through before we.
Right. You're only the second person we've asked.
Yeah.
Back to Michael Ian Black so far, so we'll need to keep the season going.
Can I tell you something? Second movie I ever did. Michael Ian Black and I played ex-lovers. It was a movie called Partners. I played, I can't remember the character's name, but he was engaged to Julie Bowen. I was her fiance in the movie. Who else was in this? Jay Harrington, I think. It's called Partners. But yeah, I played an ex. He and I played ex-lovers in that movie.
He chose Salad Spinner.
Ooh,
yeah,
I can see him picking that.
Like the push top ones.
And like you want to just make. Yeah, no, I think that's a solid choice. That's a solid choice. I mean, he is limiting himself to things to be spun, but I think if you're into spinning, there's no better option for sure.
Plus, once you've thoroughly mixed and prepared and stored up a salad, where do you put it?
Where do you put in the fridge? There you go, man. See, it's like those old Reese's peanut butter cup commercials where you got your peanut butter in my chocolate. You got your chocolate in my peanut butter. I'm probably older than you guys, and so you don't really know that. But you should look that up. It was funny as shit.
Both my parents are solidly Gen X. I know all the references.
Oh, there you go. Good.
You're not older than me.
Oh, well, we'll see. I don't know. I'm just going to be 50 now. Yeah, I'm 50 now. I'll be 51 next year.
I'm going to be 54.
All right. Okay. We'll swing its 50s then. All right. That's cool. That's cool.
We're getting it done.
We doing it. We doing it.
Well, that's why when you mentioned the whole thing about the lunch cards from elementary school, I was like, oh, shit, I hadn't thought of that in decades. But then you said it, and I was like, oh my God, that's true. They did make you have the different colored cards if you were on free, reduced, or full price.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, the socioeconomic disparity with this one.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, right. Like, thanks for triggering a horrible memory for me.
Oh,
but it is. It's one of those things that, it stuck with me. I remember how it made me feel. And to come full circle, how it made me feel, that's the goal of the Jane Elliott project I'm working on with Jane, is because her whole exercise, she's like, you can teach people about racism and stuff, but a person will forget a lesson. They'll never forget how they felt. And if you can get people to tap into what it feels like to be on the receiving end of that, you are far less likely to see that person. It's empathy. That's part of our human connection. And it's such an important part of healing this, is knowing what someone, because I'll be honest with you, this is the stage we're in right now. We had the industrial age, we had the technological age, the information age, all this stuff. Right now, we are in the age of emotion. What people feel, I hate to use his name, but it trumps what they learn. It trumps facts. It trumps statistics. How they feel right now is their reality. And being that that's where I feel like society is trending right now, when I was connecting with Jane and her exercise, informing people who don't know what that discrimination feels like, to give them an opportunity to feel it. And the goal is not just to have them feel it by watching her story. The goal is to, in some ways, put them through the exercise during the film as a part of the storytelling, kind of like that joke that you tell, or put the funny, cute meme with the harsh language. You can find a way to take people through that journey without them even knowing they're on it. And that's one of the things we're looking to do with the way that this project is going to be structured.
Definitely looking forward to when we get more
No
on the
doubt.
project. So,
All right.
yeah, so
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Corey Reynolds, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you very much for watching. First, we want to thank our awesome guest, Corey Reynolds. He's a really cool guy and was loads of fun to talk to. The full interview will be up on our channel soon, so subscribe to get alerts for that. It will be worth it. We want to thank the half dozen or so of you who watch this chaotic live-action puppet show regularly. We do this for your entertainment as well as our own. If our silly little production takes your mind off of the horrors of the world, even for a few minutes, then we feel like we've done our job. Either way, try to stay sane, tell the people that you care about that you love them, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, it is what it is.